Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel and give this video a like.
Check out our podcast below in the description.
The world changed at 3:22 Pacific, John, on November 18th. That is when Shams tweeted that Klay Thompson suffered an apparent lower leg injury. It was also draft day, which made it super weird. You started texting me your Laramie Tunzel crazy theories, and I kind of thought you were onto something. Like, is this all a smokescreen? And as of the recording of this, we don't have anything official. There has been somebody who's in the VC world tweeted Achilles. But the more players that we've seen tweeting about this, the more real it feels that something serious happened.
Jim Barnett just tweeted the longtime Warriors broadcast. And to me, the more I was hoping conspiracy theory, thinking it would be directly correlated to a draft. But then clearly, I started thinking, no, that's not the case. And the more and more people tweeted once the information came out that he was in an NBA pickup game. So what does it mean when you're in an NBA pickup game? All these NBA guys are immediately texting, I don't know, their teammates, their agents, because it did feel like it went around like wildfire.
Yeah.
And by the time, we're about the 12th pick of the draft recording this, basically every NBA player that matters is tweeted. And to me, it's such a small fraternity of these guys' agents, of those pickup games in Southern California specifically. When I read that he had to be carried off, I mean, Guy, there's a chance that it was like LeBron James and Russell Westbrook carrying him off, right? C.J. McCollum and Devin Booker carrying him off. Like, Klay Thompson ain't playing with me and you. He ain't even playing with, like, randoms. Like, the games, we've seen him go viral for years, non-corona, right? It was like, oh, my God, you see LeBron in the pickup game with Russell Westbrook, like, throwing hoops to each other, and it was awesome. Klay trying to get back in, it does feel a little bit like your brother or your cousin or something, or like a family member got hurt, though. To me, this one hits kind of deep. Well,
somebody had a great tweet that I retweeted, which was like, the internet can't agree on anything, but the internet can agree that everyone loves Klay. And it really is true. I mean, he is uniquely loved in American culture and American sports, for sure. Like, if we just narrowed it to American sports, people who hate the Warriors and talk trash about the Warriors all day long can appreciate Klay Thompson. And people that love the Warriors and love Klay Thompson just endlessly.
Okay, let's remove Kevin Durant. Because Kevin Durant really only got shit talked about him because he took the easy way, not because of him as a player, right? I think we all acknowledged, give or take, he was the best player in the world, the second best player in the world, the best player on the team, whatever. Steph Curry gets, you're either on his side or you're not. And there are a lot of people on both sides. To me, Draymond is a guy that gets nitpicked, right? Like, oh, he just piggybacking off these guys. He's just playing with these guys that can shoot. Give him his own team, he would suck. And those two guys get nitpicked. Now, Steph, even if you don't like him, you have to acknowledge, I mean, he's one of the all-time great point guards. Draymond, I think, is a legitimate argument. To me, the one guy, back to what you said about the tweet, everyone's like, yeah, Klay's one of the best, arguably one of the best shooters, him and Steph, ever. Two, he's like clearly one of the best two-way players of his generation. He's an elite player. Like, it's just, no one even argues over that. But Guy, back-to-back years of tearing an ACL and potentially a devastating foot, Achilles, whatever injury, it's just in the big picture for the Warriors, right after you give him that $190 million max, it's just not possible for it to go any worse. It was like the basketball gods are done helping the Warriors out.
We're out of 49ers?
Yeah. But I'd say the thing about the 49ers, it'd be the equivalent. It wouldn't be the equivalent because the Niners have never won anything. But just in a vacuum, if Nick Bosa next year in training camp had a season-long injury, right? I mean,
right after they signed him to an extension. But he gets hurt like in the Super Bowl and then has a second injury. I mean, yeah, this is insane. And to me, part of what made it so crazy was that it happened on draft day, which was kind of going to be the rebirth, right? The Warriors were going to wash away everything that's happened since really Kevin Durant got hurt in the postseason, and then Klay got hurt in the NBA Finals, and then they basically took the year off, tanked, or didn't, or whatever, and that sucked, but they ended up with the second pick. And it's like, okay, here's the reset. This is going to be the reset of November 18th was supposed to be the beginning of whatever you would call Chapter 1. The championship run was Chapter 2. this was supposed to be whatever the next big chapter is, right? Of the second kind of championship window. If there's going to be a second championship window, it's supposed to open on November 18th when the Warriors sign the young star that's going to help them extend kind of the high-end potential of their core as their core now passes 30 and 31 years old. That's what November. So to me, like, any day that this would have happened would have been awful. But something about it happening on the day that everything that the Warriors and their fans have suffered through, it was all kind of symbolically turning on November 18th. Where it's like, yeah, we sucked, but we have the second pick. This is going to be our Tim Duncan moment or whatever. And so the fact that it happened a few hours before the draft, really an hour and a half before the draft, is just, to me, crazy. And then, like you said,
it's insane, bro.
Coming off the last year, the cheapest year of his 5-year contract at $32 million. Then it's 35, and then it's 38, and then it's 40, 41, and then it's 43, and whatever. Like, who knows? But we're just talking about coming off an ACL.
You're saying it kicks in this year for the first time?
No. I'm saying last year was the cheapest year of Klay's contract because it just gets more expensive every year, which of course it does. Yeah. But this is a team financially without
because he was a free agent. He was a free agent last year when he signed the extension. Yeah.
So it's just not a lot of wiggle room here from a roster management standpoint, which we know.
And you know what? When they signed him, it was a no-brainer. And big picture, in the reality, and I'm not trying to go down this road, but if he never dribbles another basketball or plays another minute for the Warriors, what he meant to Joe Lacob and the franchise and its popularity, that he had earned that $190 million. But the way hard cap works, salary cap works, the NBA has like a soft cap, and then you get hard cap once you go over the tax or whatever. In baseball, you can handle that, right? Like the Dodgers just won the World Series. If they signed, if the equivalent of, like, let's say Jock Peterson had hit like a walk-off home run and they had given him $200 million after that World Series or next year, like he does that, so they win back-to-back, and Jock Peterson's like a hero, has like a Kirk Gibson moment, and then he never plays another day for the Dodgers, but he was worth that money. And again, it's not apples to apples. Klay Thompson's way better than Jock Peterson. My point is, in baseball, it's like, whatever. You just sign more people. In basketball, it does limit your ability and your salary cap of what you can do. Like, you had accounted a lot of resources in a salary cap that's $110, $112 million to use that money and allocate those resources. So for a team that spent a lot of money on an arena, it's just terrible luck for a beloved player, for a great player. That's the other thing. He's a great player, an elite all-star, two-way player,
Hall of Fame.
Who just, his greatness is uniqueness, right? No one can shoot like him. It's literally the thing everyone in the league is trying to get. He's the best at it. I've always said, it feels like everyone thinks Steph's the better shooter than Klay, but when they're both on, I just think Klay is like the more automatic. Steph's a little different, and Steph's the more flamboyant. I don't know is the right word, but it's just I would just take Steph, or excuse me, I would take Klay consistently just to bang out 3-point shooting contests.
I would say Klay's groove is when he's in his groove, it's like a deeper groove, right?
Yeah.
But they're both, yeah, I mean, look, he's 20% of the cap. And you're right. It's not just that he's a great shooter. It's that him and Draymond have to defend. And you would say, in a big moment, who would you put on the other team's best scorer?
You agree with this?
Right? You'd put Klay on him.
100%, because they have. If he is out for the season, they have no shot to win the NBA championship.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because he's such a massive part of both sides of the floor for your team. He's the most impactful player on both sides of the floor. Like, right? Steph, maybe you could argue, Steph is more impactful on offense. Draymond at his best is as impactful on defense, maybe not more impactful.
It's hard because you can't guard everybody.
Yeah, but nobody is as impactful on both sides cumulatively as him.
It feels like 3 years ago now. The craziest part about his last moments playing for the Warriors was after Durant goes down with that injury, he was leading them back on a charge.
I know. They were going to win the championship, John.
He was going nuts. And it's all just been like the basketball gods are like, no, not so fast. Which sucks that it's just hopefully the way everyone was tweeting at him, knowing that a bunch of NBA players were there.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good, right?
Hopefully you're watching this video and you know that he has a high ankle sprain and is out 6 weeks.
Even if he broke his leg, I think that would be fine. Not fine. I mean, it would hurt,
that'd be better than an Achilles.
Yeah.
Subscribe to this channel. It's usually more positive.